MAGA is absolutely losing their shit on Donald Trump. You have got to see what they're posting to him over on Truth Social.
Didn't vote for this, but I definitely voted Republican.
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation.
What'd you make of that?
Yeah, that's bull crap.
Do you ever marry someone that has different political beliefs than you?
I would never marry a guy that's liberal.
Why not?
Because he's gonna raise my son to be a I don't want a man that's feminine at all. I want a strong, cord man who believes in guns and being strong.
Border control?
Yeah. I want my sons to grow up and be like, tough and manly.
That looks like a legitimate podcast, don't it? It's got a set, professional equipment, nice background, a guest. There is no podcast. This is a super elaborate grift. And I'm going to explain to you the grift. Her videos are specifically targeting right-wing men that voted for Trump. And she tells them everything that they want to hear. That they're big, tough men. Hold on. I can't do this. I almost respect the grift. I'm going to be honest with you. So when you go to her profile on Instagram, Threads, anywhere, and you click on her link tree, guess where it takes you? Her own. Guys, when are you gonna wake the fuck up? Everybody that's telling you all of these talking points that you want to hear, that are appealing to your deep desire to be a big, strong man, they're all fucking grifting you, bro. Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, fucking all of them. Quit being a cuck. Your cuckiness is destroying America. Not even joking. For the love of God, change.
Oh, but you voted for this. We didn't, Karen.
It says rump.
She has a $640 rump watch.
How could they process this and go through something without checking their work?
I'm very disappointed. I want it to be a special thing for her. And we had expected that it would have the integrity of the President of the United States. And
I've been a loyal supporter of the president for almost 20 years. This goes back to when I was 21 years old and I was Miss California at the Miss USA pageant. And I've known him. I consider him a dear friend. And I will tell you right now, I do not recognize our president. I think that we are an occupied nation. I think that a foreign country has occupied our government. And we are seeing now that this president of the United States of America is being influenced by a foreign government.
So if you think I've been coming after you, if you think that I'm trying to get clicks by attacking you so the Democrats that don't buy anything from me and don't like me want to put me in jail, if you think I've been on your ass, say one more thing out of your mouth. And Laura Loomer, send him this.
This is, when a dad, I've had it up to here. You've got 1 week time out. If you even open your mouth, that's 2 weeks. And bring it up, Dad. I don't care.
You should be kissing my ass.
This is strike three. I supported him. I defended him. I even told people early on, trust the process. I was wrong. Do they think we're that stupid? Clearly they do, because if you disagree, you're called a low IQ person. Stop lying to us. You messed up badly. Be a man and own it. I did believe drain the swamp. It never happened. I believed in accountability and it was coming. It never happened.
Trump voters are regretting their votes and are spiraling after realizing that they voted against their best interests. They voted for someone who even doesn't care about them. Because whatever he promised them is not what they are getting. He promised them low prices of items, eggs, groceries, gas, everything. But that's not what they are getting. Many of the MAGA voters are coming out claiming that they were only lied to. The American dream was all a lie. So I put these videos together and I want us to watch them. I'll be right back and I'll be sharing my thoughts in regards to this. As you get to watch these videos, please let me know what are your thoughts concerning all this down in the comment section.
I am so tired of feeling helpless as a parent. Yes, my kids are grown adults. My oldest is 28, my youngest is 25. And I thought by teaching them what I learned, which is you work hard, you get a good job, you're going to get the things in life that you need. right? Worked for me. Why wouldn't it work for them? Because it doesn't.
A new report shows just how hard it is for minimum wage workers to afford housing. And the news is particularly bad for one state here in New England. A Redfin report says workers would have to put in 106 hours per week to afford a median-priced apartment. However, the worst state studied was New Hampshire. You would have to work 224 hours a week. That is because of higher rent prices and a minimum wage of $7.25. Technically, that's more hours than there are in a week. It's literally...
Because the world has fucking changed, all right? And now I feel like I see them struggling. And before my generation comes at me, yes, I understand struggling is a part of life. We all struggled. But there's a difference between struggling and drowning, all right? So we struggled and it was tough. But you know what? We made it. We knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel with our struggle. It seems like kids today, no matter how much they struggle, they just get further and further down the water into the drowning point.
Existing housing, people that own their homes, we're going to keep them wealthy. We're going to keep those prices up. We're not going to destroy the value of their homes so that somebody that didn't work very hard can buy a home. We're going to make it easier to buy. We're going to get interest rates down.
Didn't work hard. The median house price in this country is $400,000. The median household income is $85,000. If someone put down $20,000, got a $380,000 loan at 6%, their principal, interest, property taxes, homeowner insurance, and private mortgage insurance is $3,100 a month. Someone making $85,000 after health insurance premiums for a family of 4, taxes, not including 401k, I'm not going to include that, their take home, their net is $5,260. $3,100 would be 59% of their net income. They can't get the house. The median household cannot get the median house unless they have a massive down payment.
Gen Z, wake up. We are going to have roommates until we're 65 years old if we don't fix the housing crisis now. Look at what's happening in Georgia. The age group of 45 to 65 years old is skyrocketing in the need for roommates. Look at Georgia specifically, how expensive rent is getting. We need to fix the housing crisis.
Homelessness in the U.S. grew by 18% in 2024, the highest level ever recorded. But why? We supposedly have this great economy with low unemployment and a growing GDP. But the truth is, only a small number of people are seeing the benefits from that economy. So many people can't pay rent or buy a home because wages for most workers have been stagnating for decades, and they haven't kept up with the cost of housing. 40 to 60% of people without a place to live have jobs, and it's not enough. Since the 70s, inflation-adjusted pay for most U.S. workers has stayed almost the same, while high earners pay has skyrocketed. And our economy was designed that way on purpose through policies intended to keep labor costs low to benefit the rich and corporations. When income inequality began to really grow in the 70s and 80s, homelessness did too. It was all made worse by Reagan pulling funding for social programs in the 80s. And instead of fixing the root causes or creating more social safety nets, cities are criminalizing homelessness, which was allowed by the Supreme Court. Homelessness is a symptom of the growing income inequality we have in the US, exacerbated by tax plans that favor the rich, laws that strip rights from workers, cuts to assistance programs, and a for-profit healthcare system that leaves people without the care they need. No one should be without a place to live in one of the wealthiest countries in the world.
Here's why people don't believe in the American dream anymore. You make over $100,000 a year and you still can't afford the average price of a home in many states. So what is the median price of a house? Over $400,000. Don't know how we got here, but here we are. It's going through Bankrate. They track a lot of financial stuff, and they have the median price for a home at over $400,000. Americans would need to make an annual income of over $100,000. Now that's up 46% since the start of 2020, just to afford the median priced home in 22 states and also DC. What's infuriating about this is that most Americans don't make $100,000. Look up here. The average salary in the third quarter of 2023, just under $60,000.
When I was their age, I was making less than $10 an hour, and I could afford to live on my own. Now you have to be making six-figure salary to get a decent, tiny little place to live. So what the fuck is going on, and how do we help them as parents? I told my son, all you have to do is work hard, go to college, or join the military like I did. He went to college, got his degree, got a full-time job. He moved back in with me right when he graduated from college because he said, hey, Mom, as soon as I get a job, which was within 2 weeks of him getting out of college, maybe take me 2 months and I'll save up enough money for me to move out. Okay, cool. It's been 10 months. He has saved almost every dime and still can't afford to live. Why are one-bedroom studio apartments almost $2,000 a month? Why? Like, I just don't get it. So I don't even think that there's even classes anymore. There used to be upper class, middle class, lower class. It's literally turning into the ultra wealthy, and then everybody else is just poor. Like, that's what is happening. And then I told him, hey, when you turn 25, at least your car insurance will go down. Hell no, he turned 25 and his car insurance went up $150. I tell him, if you need health insurance, get a good job. He has health insurance. He has had a medical emergency this week. Had to go to emergency room twice. He had to go to the emergency room because he couldn't get anybody to see him with the health insurance that he had. Right? So he had to go to an emergency room. Now he's out money for that too. It seems like you can never get ahead.
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation.
What'd you make of that?
Yeah, that's bull crap.
I think that's a true statement. Because, of course, he's not thinking about us at all.
I did vote for Trump. Seemed like a lot different, in the beginning. I'm not fully against everything, but, more currently with the way things are going, I don't agree with. I don't think we should be in this war.
He doesn't care about our situation. He doesn't. He's just here for pride and ego. He's not lying. And he proves it. Not only that, but also like food stamps and other stuff. He does not care about our financial situation. He cares about giving himself a name.
When he says that he's not thinking about Americans' financial situations, what do you make of that?
I think sometimes he comes across, he doesn't always come across, he's a little raw, a little rough around the edges. So just because he says something in a certain way, I don't think he means that he doesn't care about people. I don't believe that for a minute.
I mean, I think that when you're someone who grew up with a certain amount of money, you're going to be out of touch. You're going to live in a completely different reality than other people. When you have no idea what it's like to actually have to work for $1, you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Of course, the American pockets don't mean anything to you.
Our gas prices went up because he got us there. And now what's he doing to get them back down?
Hey, everybody. If there's anyone in your life who still needs proof that Donald Trump is looting our government, there's something I'd like you to show them. This is called Form 278T, also known as a periodic transaction report. Government officials, including the president, are legally required to complete this form every time they buy or sell a stock or bond worth more than $1,000. The goal is to prevent conflicts of interest between their official duties and their personal financial interests. In May, Trump filed a Form 278T for the first quarter of 2026. It is 113 pages long, and it lists more than 3,600 stock trades between January and March. Trump bought and sold hundreds of millions of dollars in stocks, including big tech, defense contractors, media companies, crypto, and more. What's notable about this is not just that Trump is really rich, it's that he is heavily invested in companies whose businesses are directly affected by policies he is making. He is actively trading in their stocks at the same time he is making decisions that influence the value of those stocks. For example, Trump invested in both Paramount and Warner Brothers while his Justice Department is reviewing their proposed merger. He invested in Oracle at the same time he brokered their deal to buy TikTok. He invested in Palantir as they were awarded major government contracts worth over $1 billion. Trump is also buying crypto stocks while he is pushing a bill called the Clarity Act, which would help crypto companies. One of Trump's biggest buys was millions of dollars in Nvidia stock. Nvidia makes advanced AI chips, which they have been trying to sell to China for years. The US government has restricted the sale to protect our national security, but Nvidia's CEO lobbied Trump for months to change that policy, and in December, Trump agreed. Then Trump went a step further. This week, he took Nvidia's CEO to China with him on Air Force One to sell their AI chips to the Chinese government. Nvidia's stock price has now gone up 26% since January. Trump also took the CEO of Boeing to China with him after buying millions of dollars of Boeing stock. On the trip, they sold 200 Boeing airplanes to the Chinese government. It is impossible to look at this and not ask, is Trump actually acting in the interests of the American people, or is he placing his own financial interests first? Other presidents have chosen to sell off their stocks or place them in a blind trust to avoid conflicts of interest, but Trump has refused to do that. The definition of corruption is using official power for private gain. By that measure, Trump is hands down the most corrupt president in history. The Form 278T is a roadmap to the ways he is personally profiting from the powers of the presidency.
So I see so many people that are living in their car. I used to pick up at Panera Bread every morning. I would go in there. I would get out to work at like 6 a.m. doing DoorDash, and I would see the same car in the parking lot every single morning. And this person, they would sit in the parking lot all day, and you could see their stuff in their car. And clearly this person was homeless, living in their car. There are so many people who live in their cars. Even like Walmart parking lots, you'll see the same cars there all day. And it's very, very sad, but you know, that's just what people have to do because they don't have the money to afford this high rent. That is an issue. Nobody should have to live in their cars just because they can't afford rent. It's just not the way to live.
Fidencio, how long have you been staying at number 66?
A year.
A year now.
And my brother doesn't want to pay him. But he don't like my brother. He stole. He moved all my stuff here. Where I live. My food, my drinks are there. Glasses.
So you've been staying in here for a year.
Yeah.
So when it gets in the summer?
You need some green glasses?
Oh man, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So in the summer, man, this is metal.
Oh, it's hot, man. I have to wait over there all day long.
Until night.
Until night, man.
And because it's
when-
even hot right now, it's only 80 degrees
man,
outside.
I know, man. It's terrible.
It's like a sauna.
You can't stand just start sweating here in no time.
About 30 people are living in this California homeless encampment right behind a town city hall. In Ojai, California, canvas tents built upon wooden platforms are a step up from the previous site, where unhoused people set up their tents. The city's unhoused services coordinator spoke to KCBS.
So over time, as we built the tents up in the parking lot, we were able to get people up off the ground and out of the dirt and into the tents that you were seeing up there.
Danielle Alstott was evicted after she could no longer afford her rent. She is one of the working poor.
Those who are working and want to be able to live, we can't afford rent. We're doing what we can and still trying to stay happy about it.
Alstott has found reasons to be grateful.
Just having a space we could be, even without the tents. We found a spot that they're allowing us to stay.
I think it's a beautiful example of community stepping in and working together to find the best solution for a situation that is really challenging.
Ojai's mayor says she knows the people who live in the 8-acre shadow of City Hall by name. She hopes a $12.7 million grant from the state could be a step towards a permanent home for many of these people.
The city's grant application called for the construction of tiny homes with a communal bathroom, shower, and eating area.
While Ojai plans to have the tiny homes constructed in the next 2 years, there is no word on where they will be located or when the construction will start.
I've been living in my car with my 2 cats for several months, and I'm trying to figure out how to get out of that situation, but I don't really know what I can do. If the average price of an apartment is around $1,600 and you need to make 3 times the rent in order to be approved for an apartment, you have to make $4,800 a month, or at least $30 an hour. That's not happening right now. So I don't really know how I can get an apartment unless I can find a really well-paying job. I've been working a seasonal job that definitely doesn't pay $30 an hour with the hopes that I could save up enough money and then move to a city I'd like to live in and find a landlord that might take pity on my soul and sign me to a lease even if I don't make the exact amount of income. But I just don't even know if that will actually be possible. I have a friend that can get me a serving job in California, but that's not guaranteed income, and everything I've tried to research says that servers have to have several months worth of income or bank deposits stacked up before they can consider being approved for an apartment. So I don't really know what to do because California is also a lot harder to overnight park. So I don't even know if I can go down there and live in my car and work to build up income in order to be approved for an apartment. I don't really have a co-signer. I don't really know what I can do. So if anybody has advice, please let me know because I'd like to give my little kitty cats homes.
People are charging $1,000 a month to rent rooms in their home. $1,000 a month to rent a room. Bro, what the fuck we gonna do? The cost of living has gotten out of hand, and y'all buy a house, man. Everybody that I know that owns a house tells me don't buy no fucking house. They hate that shit. Between property taxes going the fuck up, insurance going the fuck up, niggas having to fix roofs. Is that what it is? Having to fix their roof and shit. Everybody I know that got a goddamn house tell me don't buy no goddamn house. They say at least you call a maintenance man. But dead ass, what the fuck we gonna do about the rising cost of living? Because what you mean you charging people $1,000? You got 3 rooms in your house, you're charging them $1,000 for somebody to come live there. This shit is sad. Like, my son gonna be an adult in the next couple of years. He's gonna graduate from high school and be an adult. And this is the world he has to live in? The fuck?
If you want to rebuild the American dream for the next generation, vote against the crazy leadership in Washington, D.C. Vote for...
From what you said, it sounds like you were born before the civil rights movement.
Oh, yeah.
So black people couldn't buy houses in your lifetime when you were maybe a
I'm
baby.
well aware of that.
You were 5. So you don't think there's any downstream effect?
I felt oppressed at that time,
Yeah.
but that's what Martin was trying to correct. Right now, I see so many people living off the government handout.
I'm pretty sure welfare use per capita is higher in red states than blue states.
Yes, but there's so many people living off of the government handouts. And that is not that much farther away from slavery. When they were a slave, they were given housing, food, clothing, medical care. The people asked them to work. Yes, there were landowners that were violent and mean to some of them, but there were others that were humanistic.
Y'all pay Joe's property tax yet? Good Lord. I live in Alabama, and I know everybody thinks we have super cheap property taxes. But we've lived in the house we live in now for 10 years. And we got into the whole Dave Ramsey paying off your debt type thing. And we had envelopes that we saved. And we would have one set aside for taxes because we knew that was coming due every year. We would put $100 a month in that envelope to pay our taxes. They were $1,200. In 10 years, they are now $2,200. So that's a 100% increase in 10 years. What my husband was complaining about, making a point, and I agree 100% with him. He's getting out of the car to go to the bank. But anyway, you get nothing extra for that tax money. You don't get better roads. We don't get garbage service. Nothing else for that added money. Property taxes are a huge, huge ripoff. They should be illegal because you never can completely own your own property. The government will always have a way to raise it above the level that you could afford to pay and take it from you. The housing market has been so crazy and everything is worth more than it was. So they ran out there with people to assess your property to say that it's worth a whole lot more than it used to be. But it still isn't worth it until you sell it, and we may never sell it. We'll probably retire there. So it doesn't make any sense. It's just, I'm in a bad mood about property tax today, can y'all tell?
Property taxes are such a scam, and specifically I'm talking about the assessors who value a property once it's retraded. Let me give you an example. In Long Beach, on my warehouse conversion project, I bought it for $1.25 million on market. That's what the fair market value was, and that's what it traded at. Guess what the LA County Assessor's Office assessed my property value at, which is the value that I have to pay my taxes on? $1.9 million. Why? I have no idea. It is very unfair. And guess what? I've been appealing it for almost a year now, and maybe we're about to reach a resolution. But until I get that appeal, I have to pay taxes on that $1.9 million. Of course, if I win the appeal, which I guarantee you I will, they're going to refund me the difference between what I should have actually paid on the actual value. But now think about this. They bank on people who are ignorant or older people who don't know what to do and how to appeal the property taxes just so they can scam and steal people's money. It is absolutely insane. I think this should be absolutely illegal, and that property should be assessed on the amount that they were bought for or traded for. I think this is an absolute scam. What are your thoughts? Who else has experienced this? Let me know.
I am very protective of people that already own a house, of which we have millions and millions and millions. And because we have had such a good run, the house values have gone up tremendously. And these people have become wealthy. They weren't wealthy. They become wealthy because of their house. And every time you make it more and more and more affordable for somebody to buy a house cheaply, you're actually hurting the value of those houses, obviously, because the one thing works in tandem with the other. And I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt the value of people that own a house who, for the first time in their lives, are walking around the streets of whatever city they're in, very proud that their house is worth $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. Now, if I want to really crush the housing market, I could do that so fast and people could buy houses, but you would destroy a lot of people that already have houses.
So now the president, who was convicted of 34 felonies, will be robbing the American taxpayer for $1.7 billion. But don't worry, guys, he'll be using that money to hand out to his criminal supporters who attacked this country because they were so butthurt that they lost an election. Oh, and the settlement comes with an injunction that says that the IRS will be permanently barred from investigating any of Trump's old tax returns. And that's because Trump is the most corrupt politician to ever hold office in the history of this country. Remember when Republicans thought that Hunter Biden was super corrupt because he sat on some board of a company in Ukraine? Meanwhile, Trump's sons own a drone company that is selling drones to the Middle East after Trump starts a war over there. How convenient. Oh, and do you guys remember when Jared Kushner went over to Saudi Arabia and came back with $2 billion for his investment firm? And then the United Arab Emirates invested $500 million into Trump's crypto project, World Liberty Financial. And guess what Saudi Arabia and the UAE got in return? 35,000 of the most advanced AI NVIDIA chips that under the Biden administration, they weren't allowed to get. But after they invested in the Trump family, now they are. See, Biden didn't want them to get those chips because of their close ties to China, and China's over here stealing all of our intellectual property. But Trump doesn't care about all that. He's literally selling off the future security of this country to secure generational wealth for his own family. And he's doing a bang-up job of that so far because reports indicate that his wealth has jumped from $3.9 billion all the way up to $7.3 billion during his first year back in office. And while all this is happening, Trump would like you to know that he does not care about your financial situations. In fact, these high gas prices, merely peanuts. And that is why Trump's approval ratings are so low, they're like numbers no one's ever seen before.
Do you think this country would be fine if we were to fire 50% of the laziest government employees?
Probably not.
Why? What would
half the government workforce? Seems like a lot of things would probably start to fail or not work anymore.
Like what?
I mean, I imagine that like wait times for like if you have to call in for your taxes would go up. Probably applying for like Medicare. There'd probably be a lot more waste, fraud, and abuse in a lot of.
Why do we even have Medicare?
Why do we have Medicare? So that old people have some base level medical assistance.
Shouldn't the old people to be able to just get healthcare on their own paradigm, on their own dollar?
What if they don't have money for it?
Well, then that's their fault. I mean, we live in a world that if you work hard, you'll get a very successful life. If you don't work very hard, you'll get a very crappy life, and you might die at the age of 64 due to prostate cancer because you can't afford chemotherapy.
I feel like there's enough money to be made in this country by people that are incredibly successful that it takes very little from them to make sure that like everybody else is doing pretty good. I think that it's probably important that the people that make the most money in this country are able to pay a little bit more to help other people who don't have access to the same types of talents.
Why should we babysit these people who can't afford that?
Because they're the people that allow the other people to function.
Trump voters are waking up to the fact that they voted against their best interests. They voted for someone who even doesn't care about them. And everything that they were promised was all but a lie. They were promised low cost of living, low prices of items, gas, groceries, eggs, everything. And that's not what they are getting. In fact, it's the opposite of what they were promised, because the prices of items are skyrocketing. Everything is way high than they expected, and according to MAGA voters, this is not what they voted for. This is not what they were promised. They feel betrayed, and many of them are even coming out, regretting their votes. After realizing that American dream and Trump promises was all but a lie. High cost of living, utility bills tripling, healthcare, Medicaid, Medicare gone, SNAP benefits gone, MAGA farmers losing their farms, Argentina being given a bailout, Argentina farmers being given a bailout, leaving out white MAGA voters.
clearly indicating that this guy does not even care about them. What he only needed from them was their votes. And after they gave him their votes, then that was all. Yeah, so MAGA voters are now waking up to the fact that they voted against their best interest and they are learning the hard way. Anyway, let me know what are your thoughts concerning all of this down in the comment section. As usual, hype the video, give the video a thumbs up, share the video to a like-minded person, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel for more great content like this.